we'll have this on record. And that way, whoever's the last person to sign in, we can give them a hard time, right? That's the deal?
Yep.
It's like the person who walks into class last. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody, and we'll get started. Make sure that your chat is up, and we'll get started in about 54 seconds. If I move around too much, Egan, you're my handler today.
Well, that means I have to listen.
Sounds like you.
Is this where I do my intro? Welcome to the Thin Red Line Radio.
Oh. Speaking of that, where's John? John's not out here.
Yeah, where is he at?
I think he was going to New York for the weekend with family.
Right. All right, everyone. So let's get started. Welcome to Aggressively Positive, the online Zoom session. If you guys don't know who this loudmouth cat here is in front of your camera, my name is Ryan Pennington. I am a freshly promoted captain from Charleston, West Virginia. Recently got my permanent assignment on the engine company. So unlike Mr. Egan's suggestion, I got promoted from the truck back to the engine and ready to do some firefighter works. So this class that you guys are sitting in today is a direct result of a bad period that I experienced in the fire service. It started at the time that I went from a busy engine company to a slow truck company. And when I got into the slow truck company, I ran into some problems. And the problems that I ran into was a crew that didn't have the passion that I had. They were, dare I say, older. I mean, I'm pretty old myself, but they were older than I was, and they were basically there taking up space, kind of riding it out before retirement. And this slow truck company didn't go to fires hardly at all. And when they did go to fires, it really wasn't a pleasurable experience. So when I got into this slow company, coming from the busy company, I started experiencing some bad times at the fire station. And the bad times came around one particular certain person inside the fire station. The negativity that they brought into that station was affecting me, was affecting my life, was affecting my home life, and it was making it to the point where I no longer wanted to go to the fire station. Matter of fact, in the Charleston Fire Department, we have a book of rules, and that book of rules is called the Red Book, and it's so outdated and has not been updated yet that you're allowed to punch one person in the face one time in your career and not get fired for it. And I swear to God, it's in there, right? So I brought in the Red Book one time, and I laid it down in front of him and said, hey, listen, I'm going to use my one time. I'm going to use it on you, not right now, but I'm going to use it on you because I can't stand your negativity. We're not losing stations. The sky's not falling. I tell him all the time that his spirit animal would be Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Oh, thanks for noticing. They're shutting down companies. We're not going to fires anymore. And it got to this point where I didn't talk to him for almost 6 shifts. So it's 6 shifts of 24 hours of cohabitating in a small station. I didn't talk to him. And listen, what we're going to talk about today is being positive, and you need to start learning your people. When I talk about learning your people, you need to figure out what is their telltale signs. Well, if I'm coming to the fire station and I'm being quiet, something's wrong, because basically they call me Jabberjaws and I can't figure out why, right? So he kind of figured out what was going on after this negativity. And that kind of sent me down this road of redemption, so to speak. And if you guys don't have the circle of trust within your family, friends, and fire, you need to find them. 2 of mine are on this call with me right now, one of them being Captain Dixon, the other one being Captain Egan. And I started reaching out, and I kind of had this come to Jesus moment. And that come to Jesus moment was, why am I letting someone else control my feelings, my passion, and my happiness about going to a place that I absolutely love? And that was, I came to the realization that no one else controls Ryan except for Ryan. So I started reading a bunch of self-help books. I know, don't laugh. You guys can laugh and chuckle if you want to. And I was looking for this magic pill of happiness and sadness. And it kind of led me into making this book. Mr. Dixon down here, low, where are you at, Mr. Dixon? Raise your hand, please. He made me start writing a journal. and I would highly encourage you guys to do such thing, is to pick up a journal and journal through your adventures. I would journal my day. So I would journal what I did that day. I journal how I affected about it. How did I feel? I actually even write it down what calls I even ran that day. And through that journal is where I came up with this class. This journal, what I call the Book of Ryan, started pointing me towards the positives. So my question to you is, how many of you folks have ever got up in the morning and said, I do not want to go to the fire station today. I don't want to go to Monday night drill. I don't want to go to Sunday morning drill. How many of those was caused by the calls you were running? What was the root cause of you not wanting to go there? You put it in the chat if you want to down there. And that is the people around you. So my question to you real quick on, and then that's what we're getting ready to get into is personality conflicts. So why, in your all's opinion, why do fire stations become negative places? Why does your fire station become a negative environment? That one guy, egos. All right, keep putting me some other things in there. And please, I want some good interaction here. That one guy. All right, Jason, I'm feeling with you. Politics, afraid of change. That's right. No discipline, lack of pride. Right? Lack of leadership, laziness, a bunch of guys who just want to work with the fire department. Right? Lack of commitment. All right? Low call volume. Ooh, Judy, that's a really good one. Low call volume. Calls tend to decrease. All right. So how many of those things can control? Of that list that's in the chat right now, let's pick out a couple of them. Lack of pride. Lack of pride. How can we control other people's lack of pride? Can you? Can you? Lack of commitment. All right. All right. We got to give Peter a hard time. And I apologize about doing this. Mr. Matthews is the last guy in, by the way.
It's unbelievable.
Huh?
He's texting me.
Yeah, Mr. Matthews from Firehouse Magazine just so happens to be the last person in. All right, setting the example, lack of personal belief in what their people have to want to change. We can't force them to change. Man, you guys have got all these answers, right? So how many of these answers can you guys influence starting right away? Let's start with different personalities. There are different personalities. I call the fire stations, they're organized junior highs. You got here, I'm going to point to some of y'all. You got the jocks, the dorks, the geeks, the band muffins up here. Corey, I'm pointing to you. I'm calling you the band guy. And we got Jay Hall down there. Maybe he was the rugby star. But in that organized junior high, we have to mesh those personalities. And when we start doing that, there's one thing that I want you guys to start considering. The 13th grade. John, that is a fantastic one. I want you guys to start really talking about one thing, and that's managing your expectations of other people. Let me say that again. Managing your expectations of other people. I'm going to open up your mic, Tatamy. Do you think people are going to live up to your expectations? Yes or no? Yes or no, Chief? Don't smile.
It's kind of tough to answer that. I mean, it depends on the people that you have following you and the example that you set.
And that's it. And what I'm looking for here, Chief, is I want us to start managing our expectations of other people's. Because one of the books that I read in this whole level of experience was, what if we take people under the assessment that they're doing the best that they know how to do? What if someone is trying as hard as they can? Would you believe them? Yes or no in the chat real quick. This is going to be kind of a weird dynamic doing this. Yes. What if they're just not meeting your expectations? And that's a great one, Jason, is what do you think you're right? And here's something else. Here's something else. That when you're trying to enforce those expectations on someone else, if you would take the time and take that concentration back on you, how is that going to affect your environment. John, how do we take that and redirect ourselves for not putting that expectations and expecting unrealistic things and make that focus back on Mr. Dixon? And the way that you do that is by not expelling the energy when it starts to become negative. How do you guys deal with the negativity that comes into your fire station? How do you go ahead, John.
I don't allow it.
You don't allow it.
Everybody has bad days. Everybody has a life outside the firehouse, and it's okay to be in a bad mood or to have a predisposition when you come into the firehouse. But there's an expectation that I set as a company officer, now as a department training officer, is that if you are in a bad mood, or if there is something going on outside of the firehouse that the company officer should know about, it is your responsibility to communicate that to me so I can help you. That's you helping me, helping you, if that makes any sense.
Isn't there a song about that?
So if I know that you're in a bad spot right now, then if it's something that I can do to help alleviate that, then so be it. If not, then I have to take it at face value and, for lack of a better term, maybe give the guy a timeout. Let him go take a nap. Let him go stretch out. Let him go get his mind right.
I love teaching this class because it never goes the way I plan it. So, all right, everyone, I've got your first thing I want you to write down. First pad and pencil thing. I want to know the spouse's name of your two people that are in your fire station. I want to know your spouse's names of two people that either work or volunteer in your fire station. And I want to know if they have any pets, and if they do, what is the species of animal in which that they are. And the reason I'm doing this, Mr. Egan, is sometimes we overlook the personal part of the fire station. Patrick, I'm coming to you, buddy. I can see the wheels spinning up there. Do you know the spouse's name of two people in your fire station?
I do. Mike is one of the females in my group. That's her husband. They have 2 dogs and 1 daughter.
Nice.
Stacy is the wife of the other guy at my station. And they have 3 dogs, I believe.
So why is that important, Patrick? And Mr. Dixon or Captain Dixon actually describe why is that so important?
Just getting to know people, you'll know their attitudes, and if something's off about them that day, then obviously you know about it. You can kind of gauge your day on them, especially being a company officer. You kind of have to make the adjustments.
Right.
With them. Obviously, if you don't, it's just going to create a negative attitude even more so and kind of turn the day around.
And that's easy for some of us because some of us have got smaller organizations. For some people that have immensely humongous organizations. So knowing your people is where it starts. And that's something that where everybody professes the brother and sisterhood, but yet we don't spend enough time in that brotherhood and sisterhood cycle. And that's something that I want to take you guys back to in understanding and learning your people and really basically understanding how that makes them tick. Does that make any sense, Mr. Egan?
Makes sense.
Because the thing about it is if we're going to make our firehouse into a fire home, we need to start including these people. The next thing I want to get to is how can we deviate from the negative conversations inside the firehouse? Here's something I'm big on. I'm big on canned responses. Now, Corey, don't make fun of me and my New York accent right here because I'm getting ready to give you a New York accent. Oh, yeah, this is Battalion 2222 on scene of a 2-story tenement. It's 40 by 100. Exposure 1 is a street. Exposure 2 is similar attached. Exposure 3 is a street. What are those battalion chiefs reciting verbatim out of their head? Canned responses. So how many of you guys have canned responses when you're setting around? Can't wait for the Aussie accent. Thanks, Jay. How many of you folks have developed canned responses for when the conversations become negative around your fire station? So type in the chance there. Type in the chat over there some of the responses that you can start getting. And here's some of the stuff that I came up with. Number 1, when the conversation turns negative in your fire station, and usually who's always the person that they're talking about? they're usually talking about the fire chief, right? Why? Because a wise mentor of mine said that, sorry, fire chief, and I'm pointing over the 22 chief. A wise mentor of mine said that the fire chief is always the idiot till one thing happens. You know what that thing is? You become the fire chief, then you're the village idiot. So keep in mind that we are so good at pointing out fingers of other people's flaws that we need to start realizing that we are fallible in ourselves. But when that conversation turns to negative, number one, don't engage them. Oh, there you go, Matt. Where are you at? They. Who is they? And that's used to portray your assessment of the situation. Number one, don't engage with them. Redirect it. My 2 ways of redirecting around my fire station. Now, remember where I'm at. I'm in Appalachia. I start talking about hunting, fishing, or trucks. That is those are my 3. Talk about turkey hunting, deer hunting, and big trucks. That'll get somebody talking about something else immediately, and usually they start smiling. Number 2, don't feed off or jump on the conversation. If they're talking about Captain Egan and how he's running his Truck 17 crew behind him, don't jump on the bandwagon. And if these canned responses don't work, remove yourself from the situation. I'm going to give you an example. Mr. Negativity around my fire station was starting his negative rants, right? I tried hunting, I tried fishing, then I tried trucks, and I couldn't get the conversation to clear. I would remove myself from the situation. And you know what I found, Landon? There in the Emperor's chamber? He would follow me out until the bay floor to keep spewing his negativity out of his mouth. Here's where the best response came to as far as the negativity from this person. I either A, started a power saw, or B, turned on some 90s hip-hop music because he hated 90s hip-hop music. And when he started talking over top the music, I turned the volume up even louder because the saws always have to get ran and the music always has to get played when I'm running the saws. So when you find yourself kind of going towards this negativity, what if I was to tell you it's human nature for us to find the negative? All my reading, that it's human nature that's ingrained in your genetics to find the negative. If you trace it all the way back to the cavemen, what did you think about a caveman? What would they do? They'd look out of their cave, right? And look for what? Something is getting ready to try to eat them. So they were always under the assumption that something's trying to eat them. So it's actually, you're genetically predisposed to find the negative. Who thinks the negatives are easier or harder to find around your fire station? In the chat real quick. Hey, look, Peter Matthews is not the latest person. Easier. Why is it easier for us to find the negative in our fire stations? Somebody raise your hand. Landon, I'm picking on you just because I think you're in the Emperor's chamber there. Why is it easier to find the negatives?
Well, like I said, you're always looking for what's going to come out and bite you in the butt. You can have good stuff all around you, but the one thing's going to come back and bite you. So you're always going to look for that.
Yeah, it really is, Landon. I really think you're right. Something else, Tyler, just because you've got a great thing behind you. Why is it that we go to find the negative? Because it's easier to point out other people's flaws. True or false?
True. It's exactly what I was going to say. It's easier to point out the negatives and point out other people's problems than to say, I have a problem or what my issue is, to find the negative somebody else first.
And Tyler, in the chat, somebody wrote that 3-letter word. What was that 3-letter word that always gets us? Ego.
Yep.
Ego. Because why? We're also prideful. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be made fun of. And we don't want to look at Sean Egan's background because it's too distracting right now. Right? All right. So here we go. When the conversation goes to negative, what can you guys start doing to turn it to the positive? So if you've got your paper and your pen following along with us, let's start developing some canned responses. Some canned responses I want you to throw away is yeah, but. Raise your hand if you use the yeah, but all the time. Throw away, somebody said it in the chat a little bit earlier, don't use the they. If you offer an opinion, give your opinion and stand by it. Captain Dixon, my opinion is that the cross lane needs to be 6 million feet long, not 480 feet long. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there with your opinions. And then when when the conversation is turning negative, find your time. It's time to just get up and leave. All right. Something else I want to talk about the negatives. What are your telltale signs that you're getting emotional about a situation? Zach Clark, what is your telltale sign that you're getting heated and or emotional in a situation?
Start to get angry. You start to let it get under your skin.
So here's something I developed with this negative Nancy. I'm not ready to have that conversation right now. You with me on that one? I want to address this issue. I'm just not prepared to have it at this particular moment. Because what does that do, Zach? It gives us time to deflate, to analyze it. It gives us some time to redirect and get your thoughts together. You with me?
Yes. Yep, I agree.
Don't be afraid to diffuse the situation when it's turning negative. Oh, wow, we got 2 pages of people to pick on here. All right. Here's something else. I want you guys to write something down, and we're going to put up the board here. This is going to be the interaction part. So far we've realized that when it's going negative, we need to turn it positive. So give me some ways that we can turn it positive, the conversation. Give me some tools that we can offer the people here. Give me an example here. Sean, you're going to manage the chat here because I'm in full thing.
I'm working on it.
All right. Give me an example of how we can start turning conversations positive. Let's use the example of them browning out companies. I know some of the larger fire departments are browning out companies. So we've got the brown out. So they're browning out engine 3. Engine 2 is going to have to pick up the work. Here's my response to that one. We are going to have to be better. Y'all make fun of my spelling. I'm coming through the computer and I'm getting some smacks out, right? We have to be better, faster out of the chute, and more efficient. Yeah, efficient. Don't y'all make fun of my spelling. Can you see where you can start finding these canned responses, Tyler, with me?
Yeah.
Because even when things are going bad, there's going to be something that's going to come good out of it. So when you start developing these canned responses, we need to start focusing back on one thing. Get out your pad and pencil here. I want to know the 4 reasons that you are a firefighter in your fire department. Because I think this is where we can really spin the negative back to the positive. Is because I think we lose track of our why. Ooh, we got 2 pages of people. Patrick's coming in. All right, Stephen, with the baseball field in the background. You know I was going to pick on you with that awesome background, right?
Yay.
Give me your number 1 reason why you're a firefighter in your fire department.
Family tradition, 3rd generation.
That's nice. I like that one a lot. All right, someone write these down. Family tradition. What else we got? Somebody else unmute your thing while I'm pulling this up and tell us why you're here. Who else we got? Tyler, give me another one.
I'm going to go with the cliche and just say you got to help people. I started off as a nurse and then I switched over as a firefighter, and I just love that community pride and helping people.
Helping people. Somebody else unmute your mic. Give me another one.
I feel like I was made to be a fireman.
Oh, Bubby. Zach, you're my man. I was made for this shit. I'm gonna put stuff just because I'm not supposed to say shit. All right, who else we got?
Nice.
Got a challenge.
A challenge. What else? What else we got? Somebody else give me another one.
Two new skills.
Say again. Who was that? Was that you, Barry?
Yeah, I was made with a challenge.
With the challenge? Who else? I thought we heard a female's voice.
Yeah, I was gonna say on my end it's a volunteer and community need, and who else is gonna do it?
Community need. I think that's how a lot of us got started, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else?
My scores were better than the police department.
Don't want to be a cop.
One job you get a pillow, one job you don't. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, come on. Somebody else give me another one.
The idea of brotherhood.
Oh, dude, I love the brother and sisterhood. Megan else got some good ones?
There's a good one in here too, Ryan, and for the girls, but don't take offense, ladies.
What's that?
To get girls, someone wrote.
Last time I taught out in South Bend, Indiana, it's because chicks dig it. We'll say chicks and dudes. How's that?
That's true, man.
Hey, fire don't really care whether you got indoor plumbing or outdoor plumbing. It's just, you just do it. It's just the way it is. Anybody else? Corey? Give me another one, buddy. You just popped up on here.
Ryan, I think some people are looking for a sense of belonging.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Belonging. All right. Anybody else got another one?
That belonging thing is huge.
Oh, I think it's absolutely humongous. I think it is absolutely humongous. Here, how about if I
Captain Dixon had one here, Ryan. He wanted structure coming out of the Marine Corps, so he's used to that rigid structure of the military life and the
Dude, I think that's huge. Can I add Ryan's? Can I add mine just because it's my show? I love going to fires. I could, don't you all ever judge me for this one. Arson lands you in jail. I love going to fires that much. Right? I love driving with lights and sirens. Right? I love finishing things that people can't. Solving problems. So now tell me, why do we lose track of our why? Why do we lose track of our why? When things are going bad, how can we remind ourselves of our whys? And that's why I wanted you guys to write this down. I've got it written down in my turnout pocket that I like going to fires. Judge me if you want. If you don't like going to fires, why are you here? I like going to fires, right? You need to come back when everything's start going negative and try to find it. And here's the thing, is if you try to focus in on all of those, are you going to be successful? No. Go back and find your why. Go back and find your one reason why you're there that day. Zach, you might be there that day to go to fires. Patrick, you might be there that day because you need a brother or sisterhood. Michael Mahoney, you might be there today because you're looking for structure that day, right? These things can change. And that's when you start, I'm glad somebody put there and I didn't have to. Jordan, you're absolutely right. Adrenaline rush. I don't get that quite as much as I used to anymore. It's because I'm old, right? So that way we can start finding, circling it back into our why. All right, this is going to be your next problem here. This is our next homework thing I want you guys to throw up. When you're dealing with the negativity, you've got to find some qualities. So take out your paper and pencil, and I want to see the qualities of what you would consider a good firefighter. I'm going to put it in parentheses, a good firefighter. I can't wait to hear the answers in this one. I never get the same answers. And please feel free to unmute your microphones and say it out loud if you hear that. Or Sean, can you look at the chats again for us?
Yeah, I'm watching it.
What do you guys think? Passionate.
We have pride and ownership, willing and able, determined, student of their craft. They're coming hot and heavy, disciplined, Willing to learn. Are you getting this all, Ryan?
Yeah.
You should have hired someone to type for you.
Yeah, right. Discipline. What else?
Humbleness
Yeah.
to accept their mistakes.
Humbleness.
Passionate is a good one. A couple people put passionate.
All right, passionate. What else?
Team player, integrity.
Team player. Integrity. I can't spell. I'm not putting that on there. Spell check's not working on the white screen. What else? Anybody got another one on there?
Hey,
Working.
Kat.
Say again, Zach. I'm sorry.
Sorry, brother. I was gonna say, like we said earlier, the belonging. So I see it, when
Team player.
when new guys join my fire department, my volunteer fire department, right? We want to open them with, bring them in with open arms to hopefully make them that good fireman, right? Or firefighter.
Right.
We want them to teach them. So that belonging thing that we talked about earlier, I think that's why it's so big.
All right, Jay Hall, give me one from down under. Give me a quality of a good fiery down under in Queensland. Where is he? Is he still in here?
Yes, I'm still here. I put down team player, passionate. Pretty much everything that's been said that I agree with. But yeah, I think team player is a big one. You have to be a part of that team, and you have to a sense of belonging too in that team as well.
All right. Anybody else got one? Integrity, able to finish a job. What else we got? Dedication, can do, willing to learn, good listener,
Good, works good under pressure, multitasking.
handles pressure. All right. So now we just did this list, right? So tell me what stands out about this list that you guys see.
You have to press on him, you said?
Nobody said brave.
Hold on. Don't you ruin my thing here, Mr. Egan.
I don't know the answers.
Nobody said brave. Who put that they have to be fit?
Always a big firefighter pride, ownership.
Who put any physical traits on that list? Did anybody? Did anybody put knows how to use a Halligan? Did anybody put knows how to make a stretch? Did anybody put knows how to vent a roof? Did anybody put knows how to manage an SCBA air? Why are none of those on your all's list?
Teach you how to do those things. I can't teach you how to park.
Did you guys hear that? Corey, say it again for me, buddy. I think you broke out.
It's pretty, I can teach you all the skills you need to have, like to do the job, but I can't teach you to have heart.
Right. Because we can teach you to be a firefighter if you bring these qualities and traits with you to the fire station. Right? So I'm going to put these to the side and I'm going to start a new text group. So now pull out your pencils and papers again and tell me the qualities of a bad firefighter.
Attitude.
Easy right off the bat. Boom.
Lazy.
Negative.
Negativity.
Negative.
Good. Here's one for you. Narcissistic. Spell that one.
Yeah.
It's in the chat. Just copy and paste it.
Yeah. I like doesn't follow directions.
Complacency.
Oh, cockiness.
Cockiness.
Complacency. I'm not spelling that one out either, Egan.
You're halfway there. You're almost there.
Yeah. Not willing to grow. Can we put stubborn?
Yeah.
What about the nasty three? Ego.
Yep.
First
Ego.
acronym in the fire service, right?
Yeah.
Greatest
Oh,
photo.
who put my dad was a firefighter? Wow. That is the first time I've ever seen somebody put that in this group.
Sense of entitlement, yeah.
Oh. There's somebody freelancer. Go ahead, Taz. I'm sorry. Oh, now you're making me miss my little girl. All right. Freelancer. Anybody else?
Doing better with my dad's a firefighter. My dad's fire chief.
Oh, yeah, but we know him, so he's good.
Hey, Ryan, you got some. I've been helping somebody here. You got someone waiting to get in?
All right. No, I
you
put
get
them all. I put them all in there.
Oh, did you? Okay. I've been helping somebody that was having trouble here.
Yeah. All right. Once again, guys. Once again, look at this list and tell me.
T-shirt wear. There you go.
what do we see about these lists? There's no physical. There's no task driven. Nobody said that I want him to learn how to use a screwdriver. Nobody said we want him to learn how to use a hammer, because those physical traits are some things that we can teach. Those are some things that we can fix. Now, this is where go ahead.
I like the last one, too good to train, you know, the know-it-all. We had a kid on our job. I hope they're not listening. His nickname was I Know. Everything he says, his response, oh, yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Oh, great.
I'm so stealing that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Billy I Know. Billy
yeah.
I Know was his nickname. Not Billy Idol, but Billy I Know.
So now,
Mike gets a little more.
So now, tell me the one word on the good firefighter list that you were in your last time visiting the fire station. And I don't care. You guys can be don't be humble when you say this, because this is an evaluation of yourself. In your last visit to the fire station, which quality of a good firefighter were you the last shift, the last drill night, the last day shift tour? Which one was your highlight of the last time you visited your fire station? Pride.
Yep.
Cindy, I like that one. Ownership.
Ownership.
Yep. Come on. Anybody else got another one? Oh, last drill, passionate. Leadership. My last one was team player, because I inherited the fire service lottery. And if you guys were listening before we got started here, my new station is full of 25-year-olds that are absolutely ready to get after it. So yesterday, for 2.5 hours, we got after it. We didn't stretch one cross lay. We stretched 12, to the point where the fat guy at the old was having to suck on a water bottle and maybe get a ball of oxygen for it. Because I'm telling you, when I went to this new engine company, only thing they were waiting on was someone to steer the ship. They had the oars in their hands ready to row. Only thing I got to do is just guide this sucker. All right, for the next one, when your last bad day at the fire station, what quality were you that day that you had the bad day at the firehouse, out of the list on the right-hand side?
Stubborn.
Which one? Stubborn? Who else? Type it in the chat or unmute your microphone there, guys. My dad was a firefighter. Negativity. What negativity is not on there, is it? It's the name of the class. What? Passion. Lazy. Well, now we all have lazy days. Hate. Where's Dixon at? You just got to let the hate flow through your veins. Just let the hate flow through. Complacency. Attitude. All right. So now, go ahead, somebody. I'm sorry.
Ryan, worn out.
Worn out? Yeah.
You noticed as an officer, you get that a lot. I show up at a firehouse and you're just exhausted, can't handle it type of day.
All right. So here's what I want you to take from these two lists. If you try to focus in on both lists at the same time, you're going to let yourself down. So I want you to find yourself in the fire station next time. Start making this mental note. I'm starting to slide from the good firefighter side back to the bad firefighter side. But you need to find one thing to focus in on for the next period of time in which you're there, whether that's a drill night, whether that's a shift, whether that's you're in the chief's office. Choose one word from that list of the good qualities and put your heart and soul behind it. Because if you focus in on one thing and one thing only, you're going to find your attitude changing. You're going to start finding your mindset changing. And what those qualities should point back to is what? What should those qualities point back to? And you guys just wrote it down. What should those qualities point back to? Your 3-letter word.
Ego.
Why?
Why? Oh, good one.
Listen, I'm not at the fire station for Ryan. I'm not there for Ryan. And I tell you, this is something I never understood because I stuck I absolutely stayed in a jump seat as long as I possibly could. Right? And this is something now that I'm transitioning to leading a team, is it's not about me. It never was, but it's really not about me anymore. So this is what I want you to start doing around your fire stations. This is what I want you to start doing around your fire stations. And I know you guys follow this guy just like I do, and I'm telling you, it freaking works. I want you to have ownership in everything we do. From the time you wake up and walk in the door to the time you go out, I'm absolutely going to own everything in and around my world. That's going to take you pushing your ego aside. I'm sorry. It's going to come out of your mouth a lot. That was my fault. I will try harder next time. Because what you're going to start finding is it's infectious. Jay, when you start taking the blame and trying to make your crews better, you're going to find other people following along. Even the paycheck firefighters are going to follow along. But in order to take the blame and to take ownership, I also want you to start giving praise to the people around you. Here is something in fire stations we don't say enough of. Thank you. Good job. What about this one, company officers? When was the last time you took the time to say this? What else? What else are these positive words that we can use as the jump seat or the company officer? I'm proud of you. Thank you. Good job. What else can you add to this list? I appreciate you. It's a great one. What else? Can you help me? Oh, have you been talking to my wife again, John? Positive reinforcements. Keep up the good work. Absolutely.
You're really improving.
Ooh, who said that? Who said that?
I did.
That's really good. You're really improving. Did I spell it right? What else?
Acknowledging somebody's skill and then asking them to teach that to you.
Ooh. You know that I use pay it forward.
Yeah.
What else you got? What else you got for me? Give me some positive things we're starting to say around the fire station. Here's the one I use all the time.
Simple as thank you. Good job. Like you got there. Yeah, there's some good.
I am sorry. It was not on purpose. When I broke the ladder truck 3 weeks ago, I went into the shop and I continued to get my butt reamed from the mechanic. You know how I handled this situation? Could I have gotten mad, called him a mechanic, and he don't have the authority to bitch out a captain? I said 3 words. I am sorry. Not on purpose. My fault. Now, you know how the conversation went? It didn't go. He's like, okay, Ryan, we'll get it fixed. I broke the ladder truck. Yes, I broke the ladder truck. Don't start. That's why they put me back on an engine. But if you take that ownership, and here's the thing, is when you do stuff like for you fire chiefs, what can you really get upset if someone's coming in front of you saying that was my fault, I did it, I didn't do it on purpose, and I'm sorry, right? How mad are you going to get? You're really not, right? So we're going to give praise. We're going to take responsibility. Here's something else I'm going to encourage you to do, and you might not like this. Tyler, this might not be more palatable than you're willing to hear. And I've got some challenges I'm going to lay down here as we get a little bit further in class. Tyler, I want you to show up for work or drill or your day shift 30 minutes earlier than you did for your last 6 months. And I want you to do someone else's job plus yours. But you can't tell them that you're doing it.
We can do that.
What do you think you're going to cause? First, it'll say, who are you sucking up to? Why are you sucking up? But then eventually, if you make it into a habit, what are you going to start seeing throughout the fire station?
People are going to start following. They're going to start doing things, pick up their own slack.
Because what are you using in that instance? Peer pressure. Even the people that are the paycheck getting, the volunteers daddies, you will be amazed at how this spreads. I'm going to give you a small example that I did the other day. And I'm not saying that I know it all. Please don't ever think that I know that. That's why I've got the book of Ryan, right? The paramedics were getting absolutely obliterated the other day on the ambulance. We went in their lockers, took out their bed sheets, made their beds for them, and put little mitts on the pillows.
Nice.
Guess what they came back and thought? Come on, Tyler, play along with me here, Bubby. What they thought?
They thought somebody was, I mean, they're obviously think they're getting played.
So they tore their sheets off looking for the whoopee. They
Yeah.
tore the sheets off looking for their whoopee cushions or nothing. But it's just a small, simple things that you can do around that fire station. And that's where the aggressively positive comes up. We're not doing this for the accolades. I'm not looking for Tyler to come back and say, hey, Ryan, thank you for making my bed. That's not what we're there for. Because it comes back to putting the needs of the others before the needs of me. If you go just a little bit further, each and every hour, each and every day, each and every shift, you're going to start seeing the paradigm shift station-wide, fire service-wide. And believe it or not, Tyler, you know where you're going to see the big differences of this at?
With yourself.
And at your house. I'm telling you, the hardest door that I've ever crawled through was mental health counseling. And this is the biggest takeaway I'm going to give you guys for aggressively positive. The mental health counselor, when we were talking about this and taking care of other people and putting other people's needs before their self, he hit me in the face with this little quote he put right here. Hey, Ryan, what if your opinion really doesn't matter? Jay, what if I was to tell you that your opinion on how your fire station's being ran, on how your company's being ran, on how you say you should set up your 35 millimeter line does not really matter? That's not hard. That's not easy to hear, is it? Is it? It's not. But before you start offering up your opinions on everything, maybe we need to step back and think for a second that maybe my opinion really doesn't matter. So now, I've got a challenge for you. Here's my challenge to you as the fire service. How many of you folks are volunteer? Throw up your hands. Volunteers? How often do you guys drill? Once a week? Once a week? All right. Hey, Brian, how'd you get the thumb up there? No, that's freaking awesome. Look at that. All right.
Except during the last 3 months.
What's that?
Except during the last 3 months. It's been no training.
Right. All right. So how many of you folks are in administrative levels? How many of you folks are in admin levels? How do you get the big thumbs up there? That's freaking awesome.
You have to hit reactions.
Oh, all right. So here's my challenge to you for aggressively positive. I want you guys to take the aggressively positive challenge. So if you're on shift, you've got 10 shifts. If you're in an admin position, Mr. Dixon, you get 3 weeks. Smile. There you go. If you're a volunteer, you win the cake. You get 3 months of drills. But for this amount of time, you are not allowed to say one negative comment about anything in your world, no matter what happens when you're inside the firehouse, Jay Hall. I don't care if your kangaroo got hit by a car. Sorry, buddy. I had to, right? I don't care if your woman's done left you, your dog's done ran off, your best horse threw a shoe. You're not allowed to say a negative thing about politics, religions, how bad your trucks are, how bad your husband aggravates you, how cool that Zach's haircut is getting to be because he's sitting there not getting a haircut. For that amount of time, you're not allowed to say anything negative. Here's the thing, Judy. How you say your last name? Garwin? you're not allowed to tell anyone that you're taking the challenge.
Got it.
You are not allowed to go in there and say, hey, Ryan challenged me to this challenge and I'm going to complete it.
No, won't say a word.
How many of you folks do you think you can do it?
I might make a mistake.
All right, okay, Judy, just because you're being honest with us today, if you make one mistake, you get a mulligan. Right? Hey, Harry Harris, how long are you going to make it? How long are we going to make it?
Not too long.
Why?
Because, if you get a positive, you kind of take it for granted.
Ooh.
And then you look for another one.
Ooh.
But as you go through and you get more and more positives, then they're harder to find. But there's always negatives and always pop up.
Wow. Hey, Jordan Kaiser, can I let you in a little secret that the people that have been able to complete this challenge that I've laid out, I just got an email from a firefighter in Utah, one of the only states I haven't been to, by the way. If you're in Utah, love to come out. He said, Ryan, I was able to complete it. By shift 2, they thought I was on drugs. Shift 3, I had 2 people ask me what was my problem. By shift 6, he noticed the entire station had started to change. And by shift 10, he felt like it was going to be a permanent change. Patrick Smith, can you take this challenge of being aggressively positive and complete it without telling anyone? Cindy, what do you got? How many of you think you can do it? Mike, what's going to be your holdup? Mr. Mahoney, what's going to get you the first tripped up experience when you start taking this positivity back to your firehouse?
Probably all the other negative people. It's difficult being around 6, 7 other guys all the time. They're constantly up there talking about admin or whatever is going on. They're bringing their personal stuff into the matter. So it definitely offers a challenge, especially with the time frame that we're in right now.
Right. You know, John Dixon, I never really thought about that. He brings up a good point because of the close quarterness of it and not being able to get out and spread our wings. That is going to add some more dynamics. So, all right. So let's give Mike some. That's when I think you folks need to practice. And Tyler, what I'm talking about practice is start coming up with your canned responses in those situations and start getting yourself to diffuse the situation. I always find that cleaning toilets is the best place to start. Tyler, am I wrong? Just ask to be excused and to go start cleaning toilets. That's if you listen to the podcast, how I came up with go get your smoothbore toilet bowl brush. Because we argue back and forth about what nozzle's the best, but most of us go to a nasty, filthy toilet because we can't keep the toilet clean. Sorry, ladies, but it's mainly a man thing. Right? Start getting yourself landing in that mindset of catching yourself and looking for your telltale signs. Start trying to find your tails of what's making you go down through that. Take that piece of paper that you've got written down, put your one thing on it, and pull it out and read it. Put it on your phone background of the one thing that you're going to work on that day. Because we can stop the negativity by being aggressively positive. All right, let's review. Patrick, I'm reading it. I will give it my best shot. All right, Patrick, I'm picking on you. Are you going to go on a halfway diet, Patrick? Because I'm fully fat. If I need to go on a diet, I can't do a halfway diet. Sorry, Patrick. Where are you at, buddy? Let me find you. Patrick, where are you? I'm like, oh, there you are. You want to talk for a minute, Patrick? Patrick, your mic's unmuted right now. Yep. Nope. We've got to go all in with this. So let's go back to review. Number one, what's causing the negativity in your fire station? People, egos, setting expectations, managing your expectations of other people's. Here's the final thing that I want to make sure that you guys are doing in your fire stations. Corey, what if I tell you that you're going to have to stay in your lane? What does that mean to you?
You gotta leave the other guy's stuff to theirs. I mean,
what can Corey the firefighter control?
I can control my own things. I mean, like, we have our positions for the day. It's, if I have backup, and it's just flaking out. I don't need to worry about the hydrant. I don't have to worry about a water supply. I don't have to worry about the fire floor at first with that flake out that smells them. And I got to worry about everything between the front door and the floor below. So can't be running over to the hydrant to control. The guy's got to control his own shit.
Because can we really control what our fire chief does, especially you, Corey, on such a humongous fire department? We can control what's around us. Taking the extreme ownership of your equipment, of your attitude, and your environment. Equipment, attitude, environments. Starting going back and finding out those positives. What words are we going to use? Thank you. Great job. Good work. And what was the one that was the best one? You really are improving. Because being aggressively positive starts with that. Cindy, I'm sorry you've got nasty bathrooms. I would not put up with that in my firehouse. I cannot stand nasty bathrooms. All right. Everybody's unmuted. This is your time. What do you guys think?
What do you think?
Daniel, what's your takeaways? Tell me some takeaways from today. Your aha moment.
Somewhat now?
What was your aha moment? Something that we talked about today that really stands out. Landon, you want to help him? What was your aha moment?
I just got caught off guard.
You said you just got to stay in your lane. Really hit me hard that you can't control other people's problems. You can help your problems. You can help them with their problems if they ask for it, but otherwise their problems are their problems, and you can only do what you can control.
And listen, I'm not asking you to not be active in your union. I'm not asking you to not be active in your administration. And Cindy, I'm not asking you to not be active with your volunteer agency. What I'm talking about is when you swing that door to your fire station, you own the things that are directly in front of you, and that's what you can control. Because when you take that focus from a 30,000-foot view and you put it on a 3-foot view, you're going to find yourself happier, more focused, and if you push your ego aside, you're going to find where you can improve, how Cindy can improve, how Landon can improve. And I'm telling you, when you start focusing on the things that you can't control, your happiness is going to get better. Zach, are you going to make it 10 shifts?
We'll give it a shot.
Come on, Zach. Give me some attitude here, bud. We're all in.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I know you could focus. I mean, I'm a volunteer, so I'm not career. But if you focus on little things, maybe little goals, something that you want to make happen and make it happen. I know that's a big thing. Like we had, I got a big American flag, I think it was like a 5x8 or something. We had nothing hanging in the firehouse. I made it happen. That was just something I wanted to do, and it's nice to see hanging up in the engine room. Even little things like that, people start seeing you do stuff like that, and maybe it'll make some people change or maybe want to follow what you're doing.
Zach, I will report back to you in a couple of months. We spent almost 6 hours yesterday painting, cleaning, and doing things around our engine house. I will tell you that there's one particular group that I'm worried about, but they will not stop me. Nothing is going to stop me. I will redo and redo and redo, because more than anything, There's a reason why you guys gave up a Saturday to come listen to me preach. It's because we are here for the love of the fire service. Don't let people steal that from you. By God, I absolutely freaking love it. And no one is going to steal that from me. I don't care if Dixon chokes me out like a poodle. I don't care if Carol Baskin up there from Buffalo comes in and hits me in the face. I'm not stopping because your freaking funkiness is coming to my world. Ain't happening. All right, I'm getting off my soapbox. Cindy, you made me do that because you're talking about bad bathrooms. All right, somebody else put it, and I'm sorry, I'll call on you. What if your opinion does not matter? Hit home. Yes, your opinion doesn't matter. Your opinion really don't matter. And look, I'm not asking you not to be active in your organization. If you're a career guy, you've got your union. If you're a volunteer, you've got your, you got your board of directors, you've got your community assessment groups. I'm not asking you about that. I will tell you that when we do the full version of this class, I don't want your opinion on a situation unless you have a well thought out and researched solution.
Thank you. Yeah.
Michael Mahoney, if you find a dangerous building in your first due district and do a complete 360 pre-fire plan, draw it up and hand it over to the fire chief, you think he's going to tell you that he or she does not want it? And that's what kills me about all this, is that we spend all this time worrying about admin this or captain officer that, but when we could really be doing our jobs above and beyond inside my lane. And I keep forgetting you guys have a complete separate page here. James, give me a takeaway. James Bissett. Did you have a big takeaway? Yeah, hey, listen, Derek, I'm sorry. When I get fired up, Southern Bat, I haven't started thumping my foot yet. Yeah. James, you got something that stands out about today that's the aha? All right. All right. Here's one more thing. Thank you, Dixon, for reminding me this. When you become aggressively positive, you may have to seek out positivity that's not in your district. Because the people closest to the problem can't see the forest for the trees. Thank you, John, for reminding me of that. What was that one movie about the Fokker, Circle of Trust? Can I let you in a little secret? Here's our Fokker Circle of Trust. Don't be afraid to reach out and get your circle of trust. This is the Firehouse Kitchen Table Slack app. How many people we have on here, Egan? 12? 10?
10 or so that are active. Here's mine. I don't know where my view went, but it's a game changer. And so not to take your, when you look at, like, you and I are the highest, the rank in your firehouse, it's that whole, you don't want to complain down, right? You don't have anyone to talk to. And that's where you all become so key for me. I'll talk to you, every single day. We're texting and talking about issues that we're having, people that we're dealing with. I try to keep, the message I share with my guys is they don't have to like what I say, but it's coming from above me. So we have to just do it. You know what I mean? And until we can change that, but you finding a little accountability group is a great idea for all you people out there. It's great to have. I'm thrilled to be part of it with all of you guys.
So how can you guys find accountability group? Don't be afraid to reach out to some people on social media. Where's he at? Where you at, mate? Are you still on here?
Yeah, mate. Yep.
So I get a message one day. What's it been, about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, about that.
And I answered it. And we've talked probably once a month since? Once every other month since?
Yep.
Don't be afraid, Patrick Smith, Zach Clark. Don't be afraid, Judy. Don't be afraid, Zach, to reach out to people around. Because whether you're down, under, or whether you're in the center of the universe, New Jersey, we all like talking to people with the same mindset. The app is called the Slack app, SLACK app. All right. questions, comments, concerns, moans, gripes, or complaints?
I got the video going.
Anybody want to share an aha moment with us?
Yeah, I've got an aha moment.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, so one of the biggest problems that I had is a particular member. Nothing I said or did, she ever saw the positive side of it. Always wanted to challenge me on everything. One day I looked into it, and what it was that they don't have a partner in their life. Their kids have grown up and they've moved out, and I was the only person in their life that was saying no to them. You know, all of us married people and people with kids, everything that we do is we bounce things off them. You know, what do you want for dinner? What do you want for breakfast? You know, what do you want to do today? And you would start with everyone. What happened was that I looked into the background and had a conversation with people, and I was the only person in their life that was saying no to them, or you can't do that, or no, we can't do that. And that really grated on them. And I think that's where a lot of their negativity came from, was because I was the no person in their life. So that was a very big aha moment for me.
That's a great one. And really thank you for reviewing that, Jay. That's what I come back to we really need to spend some more time getting to know the people in our stations.
100%.
Yeah, Corey, something I want to start bringing back to my engine company is the FDNY does it better than just about anyone. Is for Christmas time, I'm going to have a Christmas party. For summertime, we're going to have a barbecue. They can come to my house. And I really look up to a lot of the houses around New York City. I think they lead the way with that, is because they kind of make it more about the family and keep that interaction going on.
Yeah, the Christmas party is definitely one of the best days of the year.
Yeah,
It's one of the best days. Everybody brings their family. Our house, we allow extended families, and then we have the fun house tradition of the junior guy is Mrs. Claus. And one of them but no, we go full out too. This started out as a house thing in a mop. Now we have a full Mrs. Claus costume, a wig, and one of the guys' wives does the makeup up. We usually try to convince the bop, now it'd be the junior probie that hey, you got to you got to work for this guy tonight. So he ends up working full professional makeup.
I'm so stealing that. I'm stealing that. All right.
Good. We started cleaning hot and heavy till lunch.
All right. Here's a couple more things I want to hit you guys with. Start by living that people around you are doing the best that they can. With the assumption that people around you are doing the best that they can, that puts your expectations under control. Next thing, go to the firehouse and ask for what is needed in the firehouse. Ask for what is needed in the firehouse. And I know I'm running over on my time here a little bit, but you guys can go if you want to. It'll be recorded. Here's another big takeaway about staying aggressively positive. And this is, I've got to hit this one. When I read a book by Brené Brown, it's Rising Strong, I read something that was absolutely mind-boggling to me. You need to quit telling yourself stories. Quit telling yourself made-up stories of the potential of what could happen and what may happen. She calls it, excuse my French, guys, she calls it the shitty first draft. And what do I mean by that? That means if you expect something that's coming your way, you most often expect it to be worse than it really is. Like when I broke the ladder truck, I was like, oh, here we go. Time off, doing this, doing that. But in reality, it was a small fix. It was not that big of a deal. Quit telling yourself a shitty first draft. Quit telling yourself stories. And John, I'm going to unmute you here. You and I have talked about this quite a bit, to the point where Heather will look at me and say, hey, Ryan, are you telling yourself a story right now? Or is this really what's happening? And John's in my circle of trust, and you and I have talked at length about this. How do we keep ourselves from telling ourselves stories? I really think that's an individual thing. John, are you there?
Well, we spoke about it with the accountability group. Everybody knows our individual incident action plans, what our missions are, what we want to do, what we want to achieve, how we're going to achieve them. And our circles keep us honest. That's how we know if we're staying on the path. And
when I call Dixon and I'm yelling at like 10 octaves higher than I normally am, he'll actually look at me and say, Ryan, is that what's really going on? And then we'll start talking. Is that just a story? Because stories tend to be negative. And how many of you guys have in the chat right there have told yourself a story and it ended up being nowhere near what you thought it was going to be? We all have. Because that's just the human nature to start thinking about the negative parts of it.
It's a game of telephone with yourself.
The game of telephone. Yep. All right. Withhold judgment. Use terms thank you, great job, be positive, find your why. Focus in on the one thing. All right, Harry Harris, what's your one thing you can work on next shift? And I keep forgetting we got a second screen of people to pick on here. Jonathan January, you got one thing you can work on next shift?
Yeah, I got a line officer who's extremely egotistical, and I don't know, I think I'm just trying to do my best to approach him at a different angle instead of meeting his negativity with my own negativity.
There you go. There you go.
Kill him with kindness.
Kill him with kindness.
I wish
All
that'll piss him off more.
Hey, Landon, if we're making them mad, sooner or later they're going to come ask us what's going on wrong, what's going right? Tyler's going to show up to work an hour early and do other guys' jobs. And once they realize that he's not eating the brownies and the mushrooms and everything, they're going to start figuring out that maybe they can pick up the torch too. All right, Hannah. We got giveaways. We've got a Taylor's 10 gift card, and we've got a Ridgeway leather radio strap. Just the strap, not the holder. So, you ready for a giveaway, Zach Clark? Did you pay off Egan? All right.
We're gonna do the whole thing live, so you know I don't cheat.
Can you share your
If
screen?
I win, I'm taking them. Yeah. I can share my
We're
So
on.
here's what we're gonna do. I have for those of you who were jumped on late. We took the list of participants. We had 75 people register. I'll show you here. I created a little Excel sheet with all of Ryan's attendees. So there's all the 75 that showed up. And then I have a random number generator listed here, and we'll draw some names. So stand by. Let's see. So you can see here, can you see that? Here's my number, my lower number and upper number, 1 through 75.
All right.
Can you see it, Ryan?
Yep. Let's go.
Okay.
I'm
Jot
excited
these
to see
down.
who's going to win.
Jot these numbers down for me.
All right. Jot them down.
First one, number 49.
49.
All right. And we'll do it one more time. 54. So 49 and 54.
All right.
Go back to the Excel sheet. We'll see. Now I'm not as pretty as Vanna, but I feel like.
By the way,
49 is Michael Mahoney.
Oh, Michael Mahoney. Woo!
And 54 is Eric Mersch.
All right, you guys on here? Either of you two guys on here?
Eric was. I don't know if you see.
Yeah, I'm
here.
Who's I'm here?
Michael Mahoney.
Where you at, Mike?
Right here.
Hey! All right. So let's say, Michael, you want the shield? I'll give you this. Who won the first one?
49. Michael. Yeah.
All right, Mike, you got the choice. Either the customized radio strap or the Taylor's 10, your choice.
We'll go with the Taylor's 10.
Oh, nice. All right. So then 54, Eric?
Eric Murch. Yeah.
All right.
He was
so,
on here. I don't know if he's still here or not.
So,
Yeah,
Mike,
he is.
congratulations, Eric.
Yeah.
That's a custom leather
Thanks.
strap by Ridgeway Leatherworks.
That's
Hey,
awesome. Thanks.
You guys shoot me an email over to ryan@ryanpennington.com, and I will get you guys hooked up with those two vendors. Thank you so much for both of them. If you guys are looking for leather products, Ridgeway Leatherworks in New Jersey, and if you're looking for helmet shields, Taylor's 10s out of Missouri sponsored us today. They helped make this thing possible. Guys, I was really nervous about doing a Zoom session. I'm really used to teaching and getting Southern Baptist in a classroom setting. This was fantastic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for the gift of your time more than anything. And everybody's unmuted right now. If you guys have any more questions, comments, concerns.
I just wanted to say a shout out to Sean in Buffalo, where I live in New England. I'm a huge Bills fan. Go Buffalo.
I saw that.
Sorry to hear
before.
that.
You're easy.
I think the AFC is going to be worried about the Bills for the next couple of years. Go Bills.
That's right. I love it.
This is a cop, by the way, that plays firefighter once in a while.
Guys, anybody else? Hopefully more than anything, I met your expectations. Hopefully I met your expectations today. You guys give me a thumbs up. Please give me a thumbs up. Jay, I can't thank you enough, my friend, for getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and listening to a bunch of Appalachians and everybody. I sure appreciate your attendance today.
My pleasure, mate. Thanks for being you.
Oh, man, thank you. Cindy, Matt Wallace, Brian, John, Jim, James, Kevin, thank you guys so much for the gift of your time. I think I am going to do one more of these. People keep asking me about my hoarding information. There's no way in God's green earth I can do it in an hour. There's no way in God's green earth I can do it in 2 hours. It's probably going to be more like a 4 hour, and it's coming up next month. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much for giving up your Saturday.
Ryan.
Thanks
Thank
for the
you, Ryan.
interaction. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Landon, make sure to tell the Emperor we said hello. Tyler, get out there and enjoy that water.
Still a little cold, but yeah.
Hey, I will send out a link to this that you guys can go back and if you want to watch it again, if you want to share somewhere. Only thing I ask is just don't share it publicly. If you want to share it with your station or something like that, I'm completely cool with that. Just don't put it on YouTube or something for me, okay? All right, guys. Pennington, out.
There, a reckless driver. That's all I know. Yeah, let's go.